and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network episode 22. I hope that's right, because this has been a collection of tech issues and God knows what, but I think we are on 22. My name is Sunwarper. This is our weekly live stream where we talk about music production, music technology, and music marketing, and all the things related to that. And yeah, we're happy to have you here. If you're watching live, retweet or like it, help share it. It helps a ton. I'm joined as always by my Audionautic co-pilot, Curtis. How are you?
Mate, I'm okay. How are you, brother?
I'm surviving, man. I'm making it. This is an interesting start of the day, but we'll get through it. We'll get there. You know, it's all good. Yeah. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to apart from running around like a headless chicken? I've got a flight after this, and then but in the music community, I had that DJ set on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And that was a hell of a lot of fun. That was a hell of a lot of fun.
Sick. Yeah, you did like a down tempo set, right?
Yeah. So I picked up people from the community, basically.
Yeah.
Everyone there. I think I said last week there was all of us. We all featured. There was a bit of Shady, a bit of Hydro Fighter, bit of Petite Victory Collective.
Cool.
Yeah, basically, if they're in the down tempo community with us, they were on that set.
Very cool. So, and I think I asked you, but you didn't end up recording it, right?
No, well, I didn't want to stretch myself and have I get that. I didn't want to stress myself too much.
Yeah.
Also, after the show last week, I had a few people hit me up saying, "Can we hear the thing?" I was like, "Well, I could just record it as I was there, or I could do it as a live stream." So I'm thinking about doing it as a live stream, probably sometime in August. Our August is busy.
We'll talk about our August at the end. Also with us today, driving 6 hours just to get here, Eon Lake. How are you, my friend?
I'm a little frazzled, but I'm good.
Well, you made it. You're on a different computer, but we're all here. We're good. We're doing what's going on, man? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I'm trying to remember now.
Besides driving.
Yeah, besides driving. I had a bit of writer's block this week.
Oh, okay.
Really?
The whiteboard wasn't cutting it, huh?
No, and I did what I often do, and that's I just sat in modular corner back here and just fiddled around a bit.
Okay.
I was trying to do particular stuff. I had some targeted sessions set up, things that I wanted to do on particular tracks, and it just was going nowhere. You know, and it's just not happening at all. I thought, you know what, sod this. And I just sat down with the module, started pissing around with that and trying some stuff I hadn't tried on that and just having a bit of fun with it rather than actually trying to do anything.
Yeah.
And I wrote a song.
There you go. Yeah. I remember talking with you. What was it on Friday? We were testing you running the stream for when I'm gone. And I remember you were like, I'm going to have one of those not writing periods on the modular. And I was like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, yeah, not writing.
Yeah. Managed to trick that silly monkey into coughing up a song.
There you go, yeah.
And he did.
Nice.
It's not done yet, but I think it may even close out my next album. I'm
cool.
Happy with it when it's done, but yeah.
Is there any form of like expected time for that album at all, or is it still up in the air at this stage?
It's a long way away.
It's a long way away.
There's an expected time, and it's a long way away.
Well, let me ask you something.
Are you stuff from me before then?
Eon, like, are you writing another album while you write that album? The Audionautic special, as we
yeah, I should do that. Right?
Yeah.
I'm the only one who hasn't done that yet.
You gotta get with the program, man.
You gotta get on it, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's a way of life, okay?
Exactly. If you don't have 3 EPs and 2 albums going on at the same time,
are you living?
I'm still doing an EP, right?
Oh.
So does that count?
Oh yeah.
We'll let it slide. We'll let that slide. We'll count it. Yeah.
I've nearly finished Deep State Volume 3 as well.
Nice.
But,
yeah. I need some of that ambient meditation.
That'll be out way before the album. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Hydro Fighter said you should be remixing the album you haven't written. That's right, because that was your whole thing last week. That mathematical whatever of remixing an album you haven't written, whatever.
A remix of a track that doesn't exist. Well, if everyone's writing soundtracks to films that don't exist, you know, you can do a remix of a track that doesn't exist.
Yeah, or remix a track from a soundtrack of a film that doesn't exist.
Yeah, you just take stems and remix them, right?
That's something I did this week, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What have you
You've
been
been on
doing?
the 404 again, haven't you?
It was indeed. So I've had quite a busy week, despite trying to not have a busy week since I'm getting married next week. But I had a couple composing gigs come through, so I had to break out this tiny little. I don't know if I can get it in frame. This little guy, because I can't play. I can't play with my right hand because it's still all jacked up, and it got worse this week. So I needed to do guitars and I needed to do synths and piano, so I literally just on my left hand of just playing everything on this tiny little keyboard. But I had one song come out I composed music for that webtoon, and it came out for the Fast Pass subscribers of his comic. It's officially out on August 14th, I believe, and I'll have the soundtrack out on the 12th. And then I got this other thing where I have to do all these different types of genres of music kind of together and fade them into each other and stuff. So that was interesting, which is why I needed the guitars. And then, the last thing I did just for fun, I was like, I just want to sample my Prophet and this little Volca, the beats. Let me see if I can grab it. Yeah, this little guy.
Yeah.
I did all one-shot sounds into the 404 and then built using the pattern sequencer. And I haven't even updated the 404. That's how behind I am. But I just built this not lo-fi beat. I guess it'd be more like a Boards of Canada type IDM beat or something. But that was really fun. It gave me an idea for something I want to do next year. So that might be the trajectory Sunwarper is going.
You're already planning next year.
I've had next year planned a year ago, and it's shifted about 4 times. You already have next year planned too. You just said your album's out and a long ways off. So.
Oh yeah.
So
to
don't,
some extent. Yeah.
Don't
as much as I plan anything.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, we sat down yesterday at our weekly Audionautic meeting and basically planned out the year for Audionautic. And I mean, there's a lot of fun things going, which we don't fully understand ourselves yet, but we will do by the end of August.
I think we made a rough outline, and then we'll let it naturally progress. And if it deviates, then so be it. You know, that's all. That's par for the course with Audionautic and our way of making music.
I mean, why plan too much when you just kind of let the universe do it for itself?
Exactly. Yeah, the universe will present itself, I suppose. Everybody in the chat, what have you guys been up to? We'd love to hear. How has your week been going? How was last week since we last saw you?
Exactly. Yeah, it's nice to see you guys there. It's nice to see everyone. And yeah, if you fancy supporting us, take that link and give it a share on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. Let people know what we're doing here. That would always be nice. The stream itself comes to you from our patrons, which is awesome. They pledge us a bit of money every month and allow us to keep doing this more than we would do anyway with the day jobs, that kind of thing. So we appreciate it. If you wanted to become a patron, very much so, yeah. If you wanted to become a patron, you can make a pledge. They start at $2 per month, and you get behind the scenes, you get early access for $5, I think it is now.
$5 you get early access, but for $2 you get Starstream, and you get to join the Twitter chat and the Discord. We have exclusive Discord and a public Discord. I also want to give a special shout out to our Audionaut engineer McKinleyA. And if you'd like to join our growing Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/audionautic. We'd love to see you there.
Exactly. So thank you very much indeed. So that's what we've been up to. We have a little bit of extra kind of a segue news, pre-news, and then we've got news. We've got a round robin where we're talking about MIDI, and then we've got our marketing as far as they go. Sunwarper, what's coming up in August? Because August is a
lot is coming up in August. Yeah, clusterfuck is a good way to describe it. Yeah, so I will be gone. I won't be here starting the next ADSN on Wednesday. I should be able to hop in the chat, but I won't be here. Our friend and ever faithful producer Eon Lake will be hopping on the stream controls, let's put it. So there's
no way that can possibly go wrong.
No, not at all. Because of the three of us,
Eon Lake he's Mr. Sturdy when it comes to tech. So you can rest assured that it'll start promptly at 11, and it will end at 12:15, and there will be no tech issues.
Exactly.
But anyways, he'll be stepping in to do all of the stream stuff, and obviously Curtis will be bringing all the great news, and they'll be doing all their talking, and our patrons will join us when and if they want to. But yeah, so I'll be gone from then till I think the 18th or 19th, something like that. And then when I come back, well, I think we won't have one ADSN one of those weeks, because like everybody's gone pretty much, unless Eon like wants to just like hold the fort down himself.
No, we've got it here. So we've got ADSN on the 3rd. Again, I've obviously brought the Google Calendar up. Gentlemen.
Yeah. See, I can't. I'm in a tech void here.
Bible.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, it's the thing that rules my life. Let's face it. We've got ADSN. It'll be me and Eon Lake on the 3rd and the 10th. Then we will not have an ADSN on the 17th of August, because we're all away in some capacity. And then we are not all going to be together until the very end of August. But on the 24th of August, that is our anniversary episode.
2-year anniversary of Audionautic. Yeah, so we'll be having a good one.
We'll have a good old chin wag for that. And it will also be, by that point about 4 weeks since Sunwarper and I have hung out, which I think that will be the longest period in about 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Unprecedented, isn't it?
Unprecedented, yeah. But we'll also be talking about our plans for the next year when it comes to Audionautic. Nothing bad or anything, but we're expanding, we're doing new things, all that stuff. We just want to lay a roadmap out for where we're planning to go.
Yeah, entirely. So it's going to be an interesting little one. So it's going to be me and Eon Lake at the beginning of the month, and then Sunwarper and Eon Lake towards the end of the month, and then we all come back together for autumn. Essentially, it's going to be lovely. It's going to be lovely.
Back to school.
Exactly. Back to school, innit? Back to school. What a way of putting that one, Eon Lake. That's a great way of putting it. But yeah, we should probably tell. Okay, so we're all going away. Obviously, Eon Lake, you've got another holiday, I assume.
Yeah, even I take holidays sometimes.
No,
once in a blue moon.
That's going to be fun. Where will you be going?
I'm going to go to the Cornwall.
Cool. All right. Great part of the world. Great part of the world. Love a bit of Cornwall.
I'm going to go and get in the sea.
Yes, that's what you need. Getting in the sea.
I do like to get in the sea.
For anyone who is not based around the UK, Cornwall is the best place in the UK by far. It's where pirates live. It's great fun. I love it. Sunwarper, what are you doing? Where are you going?
Well, getting married. Getting married is the first one, the big one, and then we'll be on our honeymoon in Hawaii. So also on the beach.
So be on the beach.
I hope you get some good weather, dude.
Yeah, it'll be good. I mean, it rains there all the time, but it's also always sunny. So it's like 5 minutes it's raining, then it's sunny, then it's raining. Exactly. So it's all good.
It's going to be fun on that ride.
It'll be good.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. That's what we need.
Where are you off to?
I'm going to Sweden.
Ooh, yeah.
Hiking, aren't you?
I'm going up. Yeah, I'm going to do the Kungsleden Trail up in the very top.
Yeah,
like 8 days hiking.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting.
Did you prepare at all for it, or are you just gonna shock your knees?
I've got
system.
I've got my Crocs.
You're ready, man.
That's it. Everything you need.
That's all you need. Yeah.
I mean, it's like a walk down the road. So I mean, it's not like it's what I do when I go to Tesco. I put my Crocs on and go down. So,
all right. Well, I'm very much looking forward to hearing you report back. Should you make it back? Yeah, with those Crocs. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how you fared on that one.
Okay, it's gonna be good fun. It's gonna be good fun. I can't wait. Yeah, never been that far north before, so yeah, it's gonna be fun. A good old hike, a bit of nature, a bit of wilderness. Can't wait. It's gonna be great. That's where we are. But in the present, here and now, should we take a look at what's been going on this week?
Let's do it.
Let's have a butcher, shall we? First up, I asked this question to Sunwarper before we came on, and he said, you can never talk too much about this. This is the growing...
That's usually my answer to like any question you pose to me.
Good point. Actually.
So yeah, just go for it, whatever.
I should know right now. This is another either nail in the coffin of traditional music or the evolution of the next stage of music, however you want to see it. This is the AI-powered music industry deal-making platform announces a 3 million seed round. So Creative Intel have just expanded by about $3 million, which they are specializing in AI-generated music, computer-generated music, which we've spoken about over the past couple of
Talking.
weeks.
I like that.
Sounds a bit Swedish.
Yeah, he's getting ready. His
there,
Crocs and the vocabulary, it's expanding. There we go.
getting in there. So yeah, basically, the David Fritz of Creative Intel has created a startup where they have a patent, an AI-powered music creation tool, essentially, and he started a seed round in order to make it happen. The reason that this is newsworthy, in my humble opinion, is it shows the continued gravitas of AI-generated music, which we've spoken about on a couple of occasions, but it ain't going anywhere. It might not be the best of the music around, but it's really interesting to see this kind of expand into into the mainstream. Like, for example,
You mean it's not going away?
What did I say?
He said that.
I just said it's not going anywhere.
Oh yes, sorry, yes, that's much better.
Which could mean either things. You know.
That's true. Yeah. But it's only gonna grow. It's just, I don't think it's necessarily the best thing for music, but you just have to work around it. It's not gonna be leaving
That's
us.
the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what their
Adapt and
interest in
improvise.
it is, though. You know,
Probably cheap music.
Music without those
For licensing.
pesky
You don't have
artists,
copyright. You don't have
people to deal with.
Yeah, you don't have egos, for lack of a better word, just like people in general. You don't have lawsuits probably, unless the AI platform could sue or something. But yeah,
I think it's about pure volume.
That too, yeah,
pure volume. Like if you think about how much you can make through AI generated music, and you think about say you put them all out on Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, etc. Just as an example, you can get, say, I don't know, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 streams, but then multiply that by thousands of songs. Then, I mean, that's a lot of revenue coming through. People working in the industry at the moment who are making AI generated music are now making, if you think about how many tracks you make in your lifetime as a dedicated musician, now add AI to that, you're making thousands of tracks in a lifetime. That's a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
How depressing.
It is. Yeah. It is incredibly depressing.
I don't want to sound a bit negative, but it's just.
And yet,
take the magic out of it. Why don't you?
Well, it does. It does take the magic out of it. And we'll be talking about this a little bit later in the round robin. But the idea of just creating things through electronica and MIDI, for example, as a product as opposed to an artistic piece, sure, fits a bowl and it gets you paid. But I mean, where's the heart?
Well, on the other hand, though, I mean, you look at like corporatized pop that already exists. It's still written by people, but it's set to very strict and rigid structures. Whereas then there's still art that exists, you know, like the music that we love and listen to and stuff. So, I mean, I get the dystopian vibe of it and the fact that it might make people who could create music not be able to because they're not going to make the money to sustain themselves. But I do think art will still exist and prevail. But yeah, unfortunately, that's just the nature of where things are going. So we have to work within and around it.
I was curious, have you guys used much AI at all, either in a hybrid situation or anything?
No, I haven't in the sense of messing around with self-generated patches on modular stuff, which is kind of, you know, you could argue it's a similar thing, but you're more sort of constructing a framework and deciding parameters and how they interact and so on. So you know, there's choice in that, there's design in that, there's intention in it. You know, all right, it does play itself to a certain degree. You know, there's always a random element, and that everything has a sort of a cascade effect. But I wouldn't say it's the same thing. And I suppose, you know, who are they going to sell all this gear to if it's not people like us? You know, machines aren't going to buy all these synths. There's a whole industry around, you know, selling music gear. It's got to go. It's got to stay. As long as there are people like us who feel Like, we have to make it.
Yeah, that's what I was
People who are
saying. Yeah.
making hardware that want to sell it, then it's going to be niche. I think. Let's not get carried away.
It's going to be niche. It's not, well, as in, so hang on. When he said it's going to be niche, you mean AI music's going to be niche? Or...
AI music. I think it's got a. I think it's limited in scope just by virtue of the fact that it doesn't participate in the rest of the commercial aspects of music, such as making it and selling equipment and so on, and all the other side businesses that come from that.
But how many people
Would you
buy
go and see an
like
AI
lutes
gig?
now? Well, how many people buy lutes though now?
Lutes.
Yeah, gear can phase out.
I mean, yeah. I mean that.
Yeah, but as long as there is some gear that someone can sell that's got a business that's
Well, there's got to be someone that wants to buy it though.
Yeah.
But what I don't like. I'm just saying the more that should
go
AI.
to a dark place, don't you?
I guess, yeah.
Go to the dark
Garth
place.
Marenghi's dark place is where we're going. But
All right then.
no, I'm just saying, like, if
This is it. Music's dead.
no. But the more should AI replace like jobs that musicians get that give them money, the less
Yeah.
potential people have to spend on gear or something, and that
Yeah.
they won't have the time to dedicate to learning music or something. I mean, I'm not saying this is a very dystopian view that I'm taking, and I'm not saying that's where it's inevitably going to end, but if you follow the trajectory of AI replacing musicians to one of its logical endpoints, that could be something, a lot of different businesses and stuff could be going by the wayside from it.
I personally believe it's going to bring about the utopia that us musicians have always dreamed
I
of.
thought that's trap.
Well, I mean, trap will unify the human race. That's slightly different.
And so it'll be AI generated trap will just bring about this utopian bliss moment.
That's I mean, that
we're
is
on
the
it.
singularity
All right.
right there.
Yeah, that's
Oh, okay. That's a relief.
that's where we'll transcend this plane of existence and go to one. We'll just become one.
Okay, the way I see it is right. It's to say, okay, so there's two halves. Okay, so if you're a full-time musician or a full-time producer, there is two aspects to your career. There is the art side of what you do, the stuff that you do for love, and the thing that speaks to you, the voices in your head that scream at you until you do it. In my case, then
that doesn't sound healthy to me. You may want to get that checked out.
And then you've got like your commission side, like you, Sunwarper. You've been the past couple of weeks. You've had a load of commissions on, and you've been doing stuff which you've done because it's Doombar, nice. So you've been doing because of.
I was like, what?
You get paid for it. Sorry, I got distracted. I usually do. You get distracted for it. You get paid for it, and it's a good commission. It's good for the portfolio, that kind of thing, right? Now you've sat down, you've done that recording, and you've made that, you've mixed that, you've mastered that, and everything's come through. Now imagine you had an AI box that could do a good enough job of creating the same thing, and you could do it in a third of the time.
Depends if it likes a lot of tempo and BPM changes and time signature changes. I guess we'd have to know whether the AI could do that. Those things, I have them going like, oh man. I haven't done that since like 2015. That was interesting. I needed like a notebook to just chart, okay, this is 3/4, this is 5/4, this is...
Well, rather you and me in that instance. But okay, so imagine,
I love that shit though.
Yeah.
No, I got you. But I do think it just is going to depend on whether it needs the human element or not. I don't know if soundtracks, I mean, you would probably know this better, Curtis, but if soundtracks really could be done by AI at least yet, because there's a lot of, you really need to see what's going on and mix the emotion with it. And that, I guess it would depend if you could insert like cues into the AI to generate like something. But even then, I could see for like, those corporate commercials where it's just this little 4 on the floor and a jingly guitar. Yeah, an AI could program that. You put the same chord progression in every key or whatever, and you just ship those out all the time. But I feel like there are still needs for, like Ian Lake was saying, like that human element. And even Hydro Fighter is getting in. He says that AI can't find the samples I like. Yeah, this
is true.
They don't have your ear, Hydro Fighter.
I think we'll see.
Or it doesn't. Skynet doesn't have your ear.
We'd like to know. Obviously, Hydro Fighter's put his opinion in the box, but we'd like to know what you guys watching either this live or back. What do you think about this? AI music, something that's very interesting. It's very controversial. There's lots of talking points.
Is this the end of music as we know it?
Boom, doomsday.
What about like an AI written NFT?
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, that would be a thing.
That might be where we're going next. The next end times signifier.
Yeah. NFT. So AI generated metaversal data. I mean, that is next level. You know, that's definitely not happening now. So we'll see.
Watch in 2 weeks, we'll see that one.
In other news, moving along, talking about the musical dystopia, we have got more proof that Spotify is just going from strength to strength in this occasion. Spotify stocks.
There's that optimism for me on Lake. Oh, good.
We all know how much you love Spotify. You know?
Wow, look at that.
I worry that one day the bubble might burst, but thank God.
Wow. I mean, it's been such a good support network for you specifically, Lake. Yeah. This is the news that Spotify keeps going from strength to strength. It keeps on integrating more and more. As you know, we may know, recently it's incorporated more video aspects into its platform.
Which Audionautic is on video there for our podcast.
Yeah.
So if you like boring dystopias, then go ahead and you use Spotify. No. If you use Spotify, most of the
time it's quite positive. But, you know, every now and then we have a bit of a down week.
I say it in jest. I mean, you know, we take a somewhat neutral standpoint on Spotify. But if you do use Spotify, as a lot of people do, as this is evidence, and want to help us out, leave a rating over there. It helps a ton, and give it a follow. We're Audionautic. You'll find the podcast if you search Audionautic.
Exactly. Yeah. It's interesting to see where Spotify is going. It's as a couple of weeks ago. I think it wasn't last week. Maybe it's the week before. I can't remember. But we were chatting about basically YouTube taking a nosedive off of the creator content space sphere as it gets hunkered down with copyright
issues,
and the adverts and stuff. It looks as though Spotify, from my perspective at least, my hairy chimp brain, it looks like it's becoming a contender, especially on the music side of things.
I mean, that's what happens, right? Something gets so big, and then other things, as the zeitgeist changes, other things come up and take its place.
Exactly. I mean, you think about the fact that we put up podcasts for free through Anchor onto our Audionautic page. You know, you could start putting music videos and our live streams and everything. I mean, we put our live streams up now. Yeah. The Glass Taurus music video that I put up last week or 2 weeks ago for your release, Sunwarper, that could just as easily have gone up through Anchor. That could be a place where people watch our music videos from here on out.
Yeah. Or I mean, we put binary stars on there, so it's radio mixes. I've been contemplating, but I think there is copyright things, but I've been contemplating putting those sleep state mixes up under, you know, something. But I'd have to look into the copyright with that. But so far, knock on wood, but binary stars hasn't had any issues crop up from being on Anchor. So yeah.
Well, let's see. Yeah. I mean, as well as that, they're bringing in Shopify, as we found out a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's becoming this whole ecosystem of music production and music display and everything to that regard.
Yeah. I mean, with all that stock rising, it'd be nice if they would up their royalties and support artists. But I guess not. I also want to bring up, because Spotify has just completely stopped mentioning it, but last year they were supposed to release their hi-fi, which enabled high res versions of songs, I think like 24-bit or whatever, you know, because I think their premium audio quality is 320 MP3, but they were supposed to, you know, compete with Tidal or whomever by having this hi-fi, and they announced it. They were like, it's going to come out before the end of 2021, and then I guess Apple did another thing where their version of that is free for any user that pays for Apple Music or whatever, so Spotify's just kind of Spotify's just kind of done that Simpsons meme where they've just walked back into the bush with the hi-fi. They just kind of went, hi-fi? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. So they just stopped talking about it. Yeah. What's that over there? Video. Come on, guys. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's
I
nice
just
to
want
see
to bring it up.
No, I mean,
I don't like that they just dropped talking about it because,
it's almost as if they don't care about the common consumer, and all they care about is making money for themselves.
I mean, but that's to their detriment because that's who pays.
I'm muscling in on some of Bandcamp's action with the merch.
Yes. Well, this is the other side of things. I mean,
don't give people a reason to go somewhere else, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which is good business practice, I guess. But
well, yeah, I mean, since Bandcamp's been taken over by Epic Games, we haven't really seen much come from them, apart from a few bits and bobs back.
I don't think we'll see it for another year or two, whatever they're doing. Yeah. I think they're probably working on the interface and all that stuff, and it's going to take time to roll out. I'm not saying it's a good thing or not. I'm just saying I think it'll be a while before we see whatever they're planning with that.
Well, how about Amazon Echo Dot integration? You can listen to Spotify and Apple Music on
Amazon Music. Devices. Don't forget that Amazon Music does exist and is a thing.
They'll tell you for about 2 minutes when you ask it to put a song on. It starts giving you an advert. Can play. So a song, not an advert. But yeah, I mean, Bandcamp needs a plug-in for that. You need to be able to stream from Bandcamp.
Yeah, I do wonder if that brings up like the streaming royalty issue, because you're not technically streaming on Bandcamp. You're listening to music you've bought, right? I don't know, but they don't pay a royalty for what you listen to on Bandcamp.
However it needs to work, yeah. I mean, you can listen to songs as many times as the artist has set on the songs, isn't it?
Yeah, before you buy it. Yeah,
exactly.
Before you buy it, yeah.
And then anything in your catalog.
I'm just saying, I wonder if integration, like legally, in terms of, what is it, RIAA or BMI or something, the ones that collect royalties, those pros and all that. Sound Exchange, I think, is the other one, or whatever it is for like Pandora royalties and stuff. But I'm wondering if to get that integration, because it technically may count as like a stream, Bandcamp might have to be a streaming platform in terms of paying royalties. I'm not sure. I'm speaking completely out of just wonder.
That's a good point, actually.
But I wonder if that's why it doesn't have that integration yet. And I mean, they just recently changed it to where now you can download songs to your phone, and that you can make a queue of songs on Bandcamp to play and stuff. So, I mean, they're doing some things. Next, I'd really like to see like playlists or something of songs you own. But
all of that was before Epic, wasn't it?
I think the queue came out after Epic. I think the queue was after Epic. I think. It's been a little while since Epic bought them. At least, I think it was one of our first ADSNs in like February or March that they bought them. So, yeah.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, if Bandcamp, as we'll say, if anyone listening who isn't aware, Bandcamp is by far the best way to support your favorite musician.
It's true. Yeah. And buying merch, physicals and such is probably even the best way. But yeah.
I'm not a musician. I'm a glorified T-shirt salesman / CD salesman.
What metal artist said? Some metal band said that, didn't they?
The Lamb of God.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
It's true, and I mean, it's great. And buy the music, fine. Buy my T-shirt, fine. That is the best way to support. And I mean, streams are fine. There are some people who play the streaming game very well, especially the ambient community. And they play it very nicely, and they get tens of thousands of streams, that kind of thing. And if you want to play that game, sure. Bandcamp, though, go buy it. Buy my CD. That's a good way of doing it. But yeah, that brings us to 54 minutes past the hour, and I've just got a little notification that Hydro Fighter is in the lobby. So shall we sidle on, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Before we do, Sunwarper, what is this part of the show? What is this part, and what do I mean when Hydro Fighter comes in?
Well, I'm not sure, because I just messaged you whether we should talk about something specifically, but I'm assuming you're mentioning the round robin, in which we allow our patrons in and we talk about a specific topic. But I know you have a cut-off time, so I wanted to make sure we cover a couple topics that we have in the thumbnail.
We got time. There's 3 of us. It's only a small little round robin this week. It's just concerning MIDI, and then we'll get to the marketing. I figure only around about 11 minutes or so.
I'm gonna put a timer on and hold you to that.
Bro. You do that. Let's see what Hydrofight is up to. Hydrofight is one of our patrons, and so this is really exciting. It's always fun to see Hydrofight at the table. Good
What's
afternoon.
going on, Steve?
Hey guys.
Hey.
How are
AI and Spotify. It sounds like you guys need a holiday.
Yeah, well, we're getting there. We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We all just need those Crocs.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. What about Crocs?
Get our holiday Crocs on. Go wandering off.
It's always fair. What have you been doing, Hydrofighter? What's going on in your world?
I think I've got my master's done. I had a really good week, and if I don't have to do anything more with these songs, giving a few more lessons around the different speakers, headphones, and I love that feeling of being done with something, and especially something you're burnt out on. But I'm excited for it. I mean, now listening back to it, I feel comfortable with where it's at. There's going to be some things that aren't going to be perfect, and if they were perfect, I wouldn't be doing this anymore.
Good on you. I like to hear that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd be AI. I just hire AI to do my stuff with that.
So are you saying AI makes perfect music?
Doubtful.
Well,
I mean, what if you want some complex harmonic structures? I don't think AI can think like a real musician.
Yeah,
can.
I don't know.
No, but it could probably do more complex stuff, but would it be... You see, I think there are unknown elements in it. I think you can boil it down to formulas and you can write algorithms and so on. But essentially, wherever it's artistic, there's some sort of X element that comes from human beings, and we can't tell you what it is because we don't even understand ourselves. And so you can't train something else to do it either, and there'll always be something missing.
Well, I use random tone generators. I mean, I guess that's probably an AI kind of artifact, I guess.
Yeah. But within a certain...
You're still curating it, right?
Yeah.
Frame,
Yeah.
I think that's... I think that there's always that... We're still at that stage, I think, where it's being like setting the parameters and then the AI does something. Generative music is a whole other ball game. But what it does create, or what it is mainly at the moment, or it should... Well, seems to be at the moment, is the use of MIDI, which is why I wanted to bring up this particular round robin this week. Sunwarper this week has been working a lot with MIDI in terms of his because he can't play guitar right now. Hydrofighter, well, it does suck, and we're here for you, bro. We've got Hydrofighter. You use a lot of MIDI in your composition, almost exclusively MIDI, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part. Right now, at least.
He's Mr. Anti-Hardware. That
Serves
serves no purpose to his setup.
I have hardware, but it's not as convenient for me.
Yeah.
I don't want a whole bunch of stuff that I may or may not like in a couple of years, and then you've got just... No offense, Eon, but you just got all these mountains of gear.
Shots fired.
I love every single one.
Except maybe that MPC.
Even that, I'm going to do something with that. I've got plans.
All right.
Okay, I'd like to see. But yes, and I've been I'm using quite a lot of MIDI in the well, I use a lot of MIDI just in general, and this week in particular, I've been using a lot of MIDI guitar, and my quest job ideas have been to make this MIDI sound as human as possible, sound as least MIDI like as possible. That's kind of been my remit at the day job. So I wanted to bring it to you guys because it's always an interesting idea. How do you guys go about when you're using MIDI, whether it be guitars, acoustic guitars, whether it be strings or whatever it might be? What is it that you guys are doing in order to humanize or make these sound less polished and less kind of obviously MIDI, essentially? That's kind of where I wanted to go with. I thought this week we might start with Sunwarper, seeing as he's fresh off the bat of another commission, and put him on the spot. You know how much I love putting you on the spot.
I'm game. I'm so checked out. It doesn't matter. No, actually, I have a couple of things. The first thing I wanted to mention is something I kind of came to the realization of just listening to other things and watching videos from composers talking about how they use, in the box type orchestras and stuff like that. And I think we don't have an objective viewpoint in our own mixes. So we know, like, I know that that's a sampled guitar that I'm using, right? But other people don't know that unless I tell them. So I think we have that bias from the outset. Yes, you can usually tell some MIDI sounds and stuff like that, but I'm realizing more and more, like, we need to see our own perspective and our own biases as they exist and, like, where they come from. So that was the first thing. And then when it comes to guitars and strings, I always use the same reverb. Like, I either put the same reverb on each one or I'll do a send to the same reverb because I want it all to sound like it's in a room. And then I, of course, like to perform the MIDI as much as I can and control dynamics, I'm doing this because of the, where's that keyboard? That one, it has the little dynamic, the modulation wheel. And then just moving around the MIDI, tweaking it and changing velocities. That's huge. And then stacking. Like for guitar, I do not like the sound of MIDI guitars, but I found a Logic sampler that has a MIDI guitar that when you move between notes, it actually adds finger slides and like changes the pitch to reflect like sliding. So I did one of those, and then I did a Spitfire Labs, one of the free ones, the Moon guitar, and then I put a mandolin in the center. So I panned the other two left, right, put the mandolin in the center, went an octave up or 2 octaves up, and did only like certain notes just to really make this like thicker sound. Just in my mind, to try and change from hearing one guitar that I could be like, that sounds synthetic. Now there's a few, and so it's kind of tricking my mind into being like, oh, there's a lot of sets like candy, like what do I choose to listen to? So yeah.
Okay, so layering, stacking, and playing around with the MIDI, that's a good start.
Yeah, even like with strings, you could do, just one other thing. You could do, like I was watching somebody, composer talk, like you always want to pair different instruments, like a cello with or a violin with a flute, like you get these different sounds, and that kind of helps mix them in together and make them sound less fake.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're layering these different textures, they come together in a nice kind of way.
Yeah.
I learned that when I got the BBC Symphonic Orchestra from Spitfire.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Forward.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Did I pass the on the spot?
I mean, you always do, brother. You always do.
All right.
So yeah, Hydrophone, is this something that concerns you much? Is this something that you look into, humanizing the sounds? Anything?
Yeah, I use MIDI controllers to generate the tones, right? I don't do a lot of sequencing outside of drums and sometimes a little bit of bass, but really, like, all of my pitch things are normally done on either the push or on a keyboard, or sometimes step sequencing stuff. So I don't really think about looking at the piano roll and drawing in notes because I find that really boring. That's just a personal preference, though. But a lot of things, I think, to make drums a little bit more human. And I don't do this all the time, but what you can do in Ableton is you have the ability to extract the groove from a loop, right? So you can pull that human element feel out of there. And as Ian and I know from being bass players and drummers, a pocket isn't. I used to think that a pocket was always being right on top of the drummer, and I don't really think like that anymore. If you listen, to guys like, can be
a lot of other things as well, can't it?
But sometimes if you pull the beat, if I'm behind the drummer a little bit, or the drummer's behind me a little bit, I think that gives it a little bit more groove.
No, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it adds more of that human element between two different people playing two different instruments.
Yeah. I mean, so I do, I use a lot of plugins, and I'm okay with that, but I really like having hands-on do the generation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and creating that variance through the controller gives it, creates that human aspect involved.
Yeah, totally. And I want to go completely hands-on going forward. So that's what I'm setting my template up to do.
I like that. Yeah, that's what you need. How about you, Ian Lake? Where are you at?
I think you've nailed it, really. I mean, if you want something to sound human, get a human to do it. It's the easy and direct way, and it means exactly what you're saying. Play it in. I've I understand. I mean, I'm looking at drum grooves. You know, when we really particularly accent certain notes. I know in my head the theory of what's going on there. I know which ones are louder, and I can draw notes into a computer. I never do this, by the way. And I can accent them as I know, I would if I played it, and then I could go and play the same thing to do exactly the same thing. It would sound like in the area, but it's just so much easier to just do it. Just to play it and to get that feel in there. And you can tweak your MIDI part a bit to make it more human. But the best way to get that human element in is to play it in the first place and get some expression into it that way. And like we've spoken before about slightly varying melodies, not necessarily playing at the same time each one, maybe hanging on a note a little bit longer on the second pass, or just little slight variances that you put in deliberately when you're playing something when you can play. I think you need that sort of thing.
But what do you think about like having to play a fake guitar, like a sample of a guitar?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I used to have a few things because like sampling was so limited then. When we had fake instruments, it really was a bit difficult. The easiest way to cover things up like that was to have a bit of real and a bit of fake.
Yeah.
Or, like you're saying, Sunwarper, to have different versions of fake, so that they're so that when you track them up, like you did, and pan them up, they're the artificial bits don't all line up, and the natural sounding bits don't all line up, and they kind of start to cover each other a little bit, and because I don't know about you, but there are certain people in my life that if they like something, they could not give a damn at what made that sound. They like it or they don't like it. They're going to listen to it or they're not going to listen to it.
Yeah.
Not everybody like us is, interested in what guitar it came out of, or was that an analog or a digital synth, or was it modular? Was it standard? Nobody cares. A lot of people don't care. They just does it sound good? Do I like it? Don't tell me anything else. So
there's a lot of good fake pianos out there, though. I mean, I use a fake piano. I haven't found a good fake guitar, and I don't think I would.
I was gonna say I think piano is probably the most legit sounding, like sampled instrument. It just I don't know why. The multi-sampling helps. The different there's just something about pianos I think that can sit well in a sampler, and a lot of effects work with it. It's probably also the range it works in. But we'd love to hear from you, everyone in the chat. Do you work with MIDI a lot? And if you do, what are your ways of adding human elements to it? Do you do any sort of like orchestral sounds and, synthetic instruments like guitar, piano? We'd love to hear your tips for making it sound a little more human. It's an interesting topic. But yeah, so we hit our 11 minutes, Curtis. So
we didn't get Curtis's input on that, did we?
That's true, but we did hit his set 11 minutes. So Curtis, give us a bullet point.
I'll give you a bullet point. I'll give you a bullet point. Layering, that's what I do as well. But also I focus a lot on the effects chain going after. So a lot of the MIDI that I use is point and click in the day job, not here, but in the day job, and this MIDI is set. So the moving the MIDI across, but then I look in the post effects, so things like saturation, compression, distortion, in order to create more textures. Lots of reverb.
Soak it and reverb.
Soak it and reverb. Put it all in the same room, obviously. But then a lot of it is creating textures behind the signal of the MIDI in order to create that variance and to disguise the fact that it's obviously a computer generated digital polished sound. My whole thing comes from MIDI is very polished, and then just let's make it less polished. Let's make it sound like it's coming out of a 1950s amp or something like that, for example. That's how especially when it comes to guitars, that's what I do. Is kind of
modulation can help with that. Well, obviously, you get some of that from double tracking, triple tracking. You get modulation there, or you could add modulation, or you could do both.
Exactly. Always, why not both, as my friend Jack would say. Always. So yeah, let's go on to the marketing with Sunwarper, because we've got a lot, and it's really important this week.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I know you got to go, so if you have to go, we can always end once you're gone. But I think the biggest thing that I want to cover is about Instagram. I talked about last week. I didn't put this link, but Adam Masseri, the head of Instagram, talked about making all video. And I don't know if they backed up on this, because I think there was some pushback, but all video was becoming Reels. So they were going to merge all the different, the Instagram TV that merged with video originally a year ago or whatever.
So successful.
Yeah, IGTV didn't really work, and I don't know if you guys ever posted full-length videos, but they would get like very low traction. Even though it was a new feature they were pushing, it still didn't do well. And then they were like, oh, we're merging that with just the normal videos. That algorithm tanked. To where if you post like a square video, I mean, for me, I'll get like 10 views on it or something. Like, it's just terrible compared to thousands from Reels. Yeah. Well, I'll get like thousands from a Reel, and then I'll post like 10 views or something. And I'm not talking vanity metrics. I'm just talking, this is statistics. Like, this is how bad that algorithm isn't working and stuff. And so he was... Comparatively. Yeah, exactly. So he was saying that all video is now going to become Reels. So my question to that, and I never saw an answer, was, Reels are 9:16. They're supposed to fill up the screen. And there's also people who have this new, and I think it's terrible, test or beta version of Instagram where it's full screen. So one post takes up the whole screen of Instagram, even like the bottom part where there's like the search bar and stuff. It like occupies the whole, and you have to slide just like TikTok. It's terrible. But so last week he's like, everything's becoming Reels that are videos. And then people logically were like, well, what about photos? Like the thing Instagram was originally about. What's going on with photos, and why, like if I do a 4:5 video, those get punished on Reels. So is that, if every video is now 9:16, like if I film a YouTube video, do I have to make some horrible crop, to just make it work on Instagram? So that was what he said last week. Then this week, Curtis, if you could pull up that video when you get a chance.
Are we doing?
It's the third one, I think. It's the IG one, Instagram.
It's a good place to start. Yeah. So let me bring this up.
Well, I know we're in a quick timetable, so I'm just making sure. I know we're all checked out. I'm testing you're still, you're still working here.
So this is it. I'm playing it now for you.
Let's see if we get audio. I'm not hearing it.
No, you won't get audio.
Okay, so he's talking about Instagram's constantly evolving. Josh, can you zoom in on the text? I don't know if he talks about what exactly they're doing, but no, he doesn't. Okay, so he's saying that they're going to be, basically, they put it gently, but everything's going to be video now. Like, they're trying to push video as much as they can, and they're making all these different changes. They said, the beta test for this full screen still has issues, and so before... He's like, we're not going to undo that. He said, before we were able to roll it out completely to everyone, we want to make sure people like it and stuff. I don't think anybody's ever going to like it. It's terrible. It's not a good thing. I don't like it for TikTok, and it doesn't work for Instagram. And then a lot of people who are photographers... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ian Lake.
No, Cal, please finish what you're saying, because I'm going to rubbish all this.
Yeah, I was going to say... I was going to say... So he's saying how we're shifting over to video because... the algorithm likes the videos, and when Instagram looks at metrics of what people watch, people are watching, or what people look at, let's say, on Instagram, people are watching videos more than they're looking at photos. Obviously, from a marketing standpoint, a video keeps you on Instagram longer than a photo does, and there's ads and there's things like that. But a lot of photographers who were Instagram's first thing are rightfully being like, well, what about photos? And they're not really giving an answer. They're just kind of saying like, well, we want photographers to post photos, and we want video people to post their videos, and we want it to be like a platform for both. But the algorithm's pushing video, so it's like this weird. They're just saying
they've only got one algorithm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep people on.
Yeah, exactly.
How is it going to prioritize two things?
Yeah.
Can't really, can it?
Yep. Yeah. So there's some big changes happening at Instagram, and one of the things I wanted to bring up that I'm seeing is it's like. They're changing so much so quickly and drastically. Like, they merge all videos to Reels. I don't think it's happened quite yet, but, like, that's going to happen. So people who are posting these, like, IGTV videos, there's people that post, like, these self-help gurus or whatever are posting, like, 17-minute 16:9 videos, and they're getting traction from it because they have, like, a fan or group that follows them and stuff. Well, is that just going to go by the wayside because it's not 9x16? You know, like what happens and all this? It's just like they're changing so drastically. They're going to lose a lot of groups that use it for different things, and I think they're directly, obviously, trying to compete with TikTok, and I don't think that's right. Now, I don't speak Instagram money. They're probably seeing the money on TikTok, but their algorithms are very different. Their user bases are very different. They should be more eclectic in the way they present Instagram. That's what I think. But I wanted to hear your guys' take on what you guys think.
Well, who the hell can be bothered to keep up with Instagram and all the changes?
It's like every week it's completely different.
Yeah, I mean, and they're really U-turning on things. It sounds like they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah,
and they need
I think they're knee-jerk reacting to TikTok.
Fucking minds up, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. Give me a tool I can use and stop bloody changing it all the time.
Yeah.
1 minute it's a shovel, the next minute it's a wand.
It's a bucket.
So what the hell? Yeah. What are you doing? What is this platform? And they're just diluting their brand.
Yeah.
They're making a mess, and people will just wander off into the sunset. Somebody's going to come along with a decent photo sharing app, the photographers, and they'll all pile onto there, and then your third-rate TikTok will die a death. I mean, what the hell are they thinking?
It just it maintained the only consistent one really over the past couple of years has been Twitter, and I mean that's a shit show, but at least it's consistently been a shit show.
But it does what it does, right?
Exactly.
You know what it is. Next week it's not going to be a fucking blamond or something. It's a roast chicken. You know?
Yeah, Hydro Fighter, what do you think?
I'm exactly with Eon on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Chinese have Instagram on a leash.
Does China have a investment in Meta and Facebook, whatever they're calling themselves?
Just TikTok. I mean,
no,
sounds like
TikTok.
Yeah, I know they've got TikTok. So yeah, I was just curious if they have a stake.
They're just calling the shots, from TikTok.
Just because it's so popular. It's such a popular platform. I mean, everyone's running to the middle.
Yeah.
And it's just such a shame to see.
The interesting thing is the way the TikTok algorithm works is so strange and different from Instagram that I feel like Instagram could show what should I say, embrace their different algorithm and like showcase that it's more, because the way TikTok works is it just shows you to everyone, not your niche, not your like group, not like SP404 users. It's just like, here you go. Oh, you like tacos? Well, here's a guy playing SP404. Like, what? But Instagram will go on. Yeah, Instagram will like work and say, okay, users who follow this hashtag, well, here's people using this hashtag or this and that. Like, it's much more nuanced. And yeah, go ahead.
But what about the Facebook, Instagram thing? What the hell's going on there? Now you've got the Reels on Facebook.
Yeah,
if you want to comment on it, you've got to go to Instagram. You're just mashing two platforms together. They're like the same thing.
They're trying to keep them separate but bring them together.
Get rid of one.
I think because they have different generational user bases. Instagram, I think, is much more like probably our generation or something, whatever you want to call it. And then Facebook is like the 40s, 50s. I mean,
our generation,
to some extent, yeah, exactly. Yeah. To some extent, they had their USP though, and now it's gone. Now they're diluting themselves, and it's like, like Curtis says, it's a rush to the middle. Everybody wants to do that Me Too thing. Oh, wow, where else does that too? Yeah, you can do that here.
Well, I mean,
stop it.
I mean, that's what
I need a slap.
It does need a slap. Maybe we just need a bit more anarchy in this world, and we might have a bit more variation. But I mean, that's a different discussion for a different day, gentlemen.
I don't know what Insta's doing. I mean, I feel like they're just literally knee-jerk reacting to everything about TikTok every week or something, and it's like you're throwing too much at once. Like, slow it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Make the parts you have stronger, and then slowly throw things in. Like Twitter, as consistent as they are, has introduced things. They did those fleets. They didn't work. They were like the story equivalent. They got rid of those. They made those groups again recently. I don't know if anybody's using those, but they still exist.
They've just started Spaces, which is
that's what I'm talking about. Those groups, Spaces, They started those, but I mean, the ones that we saw, like around the ambient community, seem to kind of just like. Well,
so you have communities, but then you've also got Spaces, which is where they're like you can host a radio.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see that one then. Yeah.
That
So
seems
that's
quite
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, is that the
basically like a
thing
Zoom
on the
call.
top of the screen that's like purple, like a circle? Or something? Yeah. Okay.
That's basically like a Zoom webinar.
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
Which it seems quite. That's something that would be worth looking at.
Yeah, especially for Audionautic, that might be worth looking into. Definitely, yeah.
So we'll see. What else is on the marketing docket for today's Sunwarper?
I mean, if you got a bounce, then it's nothing really interesting. It's just a few quick things. We talked about the issues with content ID and copyright last week, and then YouTube put this on their creators account. They put a video saying, "Oh, we're doing quicker content ID claims. Like when you make a claim for or against or whatever, like we'll respond quicker because it used to take a month or whatever, and this and that." I mean, it's a lot of nice talk, but it doesn't sound like it's a lot of change. It's still the same system. They're just saying we respond and say no to you quicker. Like that's you're gonna get no quicker, and then it becomes a legal issue and this and that. So I mean, it's nothing crazy. If anybody
delete
wants
your channel quicker.
Yeah.
Channel, yeah.
If anybody wants to watch the video, Curtis, just post it in the
I'll put it in the chat.
chat. Yeah.
Tell us about this website for trends. Tell us about this.
Yeah. So this is actually it's just another Google website, but it's called trends.google.com, and Curtis, you can share your screen when you get a second.
Share the link in the chat for anyone.
Yeah. So this, as you guys know, I'm a budding YouTuber, whatever you want to call it, but I like posting videos on YouTube, and one of the ways the YouTube algorithm works is what's quote trending at the moment. Now I don't really follow this, but it does make sense if you're doing gear, if you have certain gear and that has a higher trend number, maybe throw it in your video or something, just like use it. Like you can search in areas and things like that. The search bars under that explore what the world is searching. You can type in like Novation circuit tracks and you can see metrics of how many people are searching it on Google and I think YouTube because it's the same. But you can put Novation circuit tracks, it pulls up this little metric. And it'll show you each day for the last however long you can set it for. Here's how many people are searching for it. Here's where they're searching for it, and things like that. So it's just a nice tool because, like, if you look on your YouTube analytics on videos, you'll see if people are finding you from YouTube search. It'll show you the search words they've used to find you. Like if someone I'll find like on my most recent video with the SP404. Surprisingly, the most people that are clicking the video are clicking from Volca and Volca Beats. Not SP404.
You wouldn't necessarily have thought that, would you?
No. I mean, how old is the Volca Beats? Like,
yeah, it's ancient now.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it was 10% of the YouTube search clicks came from Volca, and 10% came from Volca Beats, and I think 6% came from SP404 and some other metric for 404 Mark II or something. So it's just like
that is not intuitive. You would have thought most of them would come from 404.
Exactly. And other videos, other videos I've had the 404 is the most searched one, and then other times it'll be the Novation circuit tracks or whatever. Like it just rather than making it a guessing game, you could actually search what's trending in the moment. And I'm not saying like I'm never going to tell someone make content based on what's trending. Like, yeah, unless you're trying to be super famous and have your like 15 minutes of fame, go do that. But if you're trying to be an artist, all I'm thinking is like there's a middle ground. If you have some of these pieces of gear, search what's most searched at the moment or something, and just throw it in. I mean, it's all instruments.
How you tag it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not even necessarily what you do, but
exactly
the tags that you use
when
you post it.
Even that, especially that, exactly. It's just a way to, get yourself a little help without having to sell out. In my opinion, I mean, Hydro Fighter might think I'm a sellout. I don't care, but
I was just thinking that maybe Eon could use this to determine what his next piece of gear would be.
Yeah. I don't think he even
needs
to
follow the trend.
He's got all the gear that's trending. He just has to like search which one in this week is going, and he's like, yeah, I could use that one today.
Yeah. Guys. I'm gonna have to side off general because I've got a flight to catch. Very sadly.
Any excuse, eh?
Yeah. He's always finding
I can't wait to leave.
Eon like drove 6 hours to get here, and you just I got a flight in 4 hours.
Sorry, I got a flight to
You'll
catch.
fly 6 hours to get away from it.
You know how much I'm gonna miss you. I am not gonna see. I'm not going to see Sunwarper for about a month, and it's going to be really sad inside.
I know. I'll be in the chats. I may be able to like hop in, like Hydrofighter does in one of the, if we have decent enough internet, but no
be a
promises.
guest on your own show.
Exactly. I'll make a guest spot. I'll make a guest appearance. But no, I'll miss you guys a ton. This is always. I'll let him on at 12:15. Bye, guys. Oh, bye. See. No, I will miss you guys. This is always the highlight of my week. So it's a bummer, but it's always good to step back a little bit, and we all need breaks. So yeah.
And I mean, you're getting married, which is a pretty big deal. So yeah,
it is. Yeah,
cool.
It is. Yeah.
I'll leave you guys to wrap up the show. Thank you ever so much, Romain, for watching. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Hydrofighter, Eon Lake, love you both, and Sunwarper.
Take it easy, bro.
You know how I feel.
Yeah, man. Always good seeing you. See you later.
Take it easy. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So that's basically it for the marketing. Anything you want to add, Hydrofighter?
Nothing from me.
No? Okay. Eon Lake, anything? Any tech issues you've been dealing with lately? Oh, no. I opened a can of worms with that.
We don't want to talk about that.
It's been enough of a dour episode, I guess, with the...
trying to find words to articulate it that aren't all swear words.
Every other... We'll allow every other word.
Exactly. It's just the same old nonsense, really. Just things hanging up and needing to get booted and not having time to do it before the show starts. Really.
Yeah.
I've got 2 devices. I will be ready to rock on both of them when you're not around. So. All
right. Yeah, I'm counting on you.
The first one doesn't work. The second one will.
All right. You're good to go. Yeah. I think that's it. I'm looking forward to seeing you all when I'm back, but it'll be nice to get away, see the beach. I've been jonesing to see. I haven't been back to Hawaii in like 6 years, so it'll be nice to go see Hawaii. Steve, have you ever been to Hawaii?
Yeah,
I don't surf.
I got really burned. I got really sunburned there.
That's your memory of Hawaii?
Yeah, well, I mean, I love the beaches. I mean, I like the Mexico beaches too, but yeah, I mean, it's great to get away, but for me, that's a long flight. But that's like going to Europe in a way too.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I was able to do a direct flight to Hawaii when I went.
Yeah, so we are too, luckily. I mean, it's not as far. I think it's 6 hours that way from here.
Yeah.
And then 5 back. There's like the headwinds or whatever. But we were originally on one airline, and just randomly, they're like, oh, your flight's completely changed. It's 5 hours later, and you're flying up to Seattle, transferring, then flying down and west.
Moon.
Like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why would we go up to Seattle when Hawaii is literally just go left from LAX? That's all you need to do.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so we had to cancel that, switch flights and all that stuff. But it's like, I don't know. I guess there's issues with flights and stuff at the moment. But it is what it is. Yeah.
It's going to be brilliant.
It's going to be great, yeah.
But
I'll see you guys in, well, I guess, Eon, like, I don't think I'll see you till the end of August, right?
Yeah, very end of August.
Yeah,
because I'm on holiday the last week.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, that's the show.
Thanks.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. If you want more, you can head over to our Patreon for all the additional content. And if you'd like to help us out, please head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and give a rating to our podcast there. It helps with the algorithms and it helps a ton. And Audionautic Deep Space Network will be back this coming Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific with Eon Lake running the show.
A special all English edition.
Yeah, there we go. Well, until Hydrofighter pops in. Yeah.
Actually, I'm out next week.
Oh, so, bummer. Then okay, so it'll be an all English episode. Yeah, so enjoy that one.
We shall have scones and tea.
There you go. Yeah, be as British as possible.
Yeah, pull out all those curse words.
Yeah, there you go. All right, gents. Until next time.